Good morning, everyone, and welcome to On the Wrong Lead presents Saratoga Daily. I am Mark, and doing another one of these solo. I was a little tired after the Travelers card, decided that I didn't want to record anything. I had a bit of a rough day, quite honestly, and figured, let's wait till the morning. Um, and talk through some things. So, in the ballerina, we saw that Serengeti Empress is still legit. Interesting ride on Cookie Dough. They did not go after Serengeti Empress early. You got 3-1 on Serengeti Empress, which I think was honestly, I wouldn't have bet her at that. I needed more like 5-1 to get interested in her. She's super classy. I think 7 Furlong really fits her, and I think they're going to probably now point her towards either the Breeders' Cup Filly Mare Sprint or the Breeders' Cup. I think there is a Filly Mare Mile, Dirt Mile. Either one of those I think would be really good for her. I always thought she was a better two-turn horse, but she was very impressive. Held off Bellafina. Bellafina actually ran much better than I expected Bellafina to run. And Bellafina almost showed up on the East Coast, so that's impressive for her. Um, let's try to think of other races that were super interesting. Imprimus lived up to his being the morning line favorite. Apparently, they did some surgery on his neck that I was not aware of, and it improved a breathing problem he had been having for a couple starts since Ascot. And he definitely stepped back up in a big way. I was a little disappointed with everybody else in the race, but Imprimus really showed up, showed that he's a classy older guy, and I'm looking forward to seeing more from him as the fall campaign goes on. I would imagine the Breeders' Cup Turf Sprint is going to be where he's going to be pointed. In the wire, yeah. My sister Nat rallied late. Finally got it done. I didn't think this was the distance she wanted. I was wrong. And yeah, I don't know how much more I need to say about that. A couple of disappointing other horses that just sort of really didn't show it with Chad Brown 1-2. So yeah, let's head right into the test where me getting cute and trying to beat Gamine bit me in the ass. She's a freaking monster. She's very impressive. I was the questions going into there were, would she be able to handle some early pace, and she proved everybody wrong that she can definitely hold and deal with some early pace. Venetian Harbor went at her. I loved the ride by Rosario. He just didn't have as good of a horse. Gamine is just on a completely different level right now, and quite honestly, I think they have a ton of spots that they can point her. She's won at a mile. She's won at a mile and a 16th, and she's now won at 7 furlongs. So I think they could target her towards the Filly and Mare Sprint. They could target her maybe towards just the regular sprint or even the regular dirt mile. I don't think they need to restrict her to fillies. She's just a monster. So I think they have all sorts of options with her. It'll be interesting to see where they go with her and where they point her. But it doesn't seem like the jockey matters on her. It doesn't seem like the pace setup matters. She's just good. She's really good, and I take back all the mean things I said about her. But I don't have to do that in the next race, which is very nice. Uncle Chuck showed that he is a fraud, so he ran a decent race, but I don't even think he ended up hitting the board. He tried to go, or well, I mean, he was forwardly placed early. Chivalry was real forwardly placed, but I think going away from this race, Tiz the Law is a very deserving, very short price Derby favorite. He did absolutely everything. I love seeing Saratoga have another monster on their hands, and you gotta love seeing Barclay Tag at 80 something years old, having arguably the horse of his lifetime. He could have a second horse of a lifetime in Tiz the Law, and for small connections. Small local connections for me. This is just about as good as it gets. I can't be much happier than I was yesterday. I played all sorts of cute combinations trying to get around some of the logicals, and had I been a little smart and just smashed my best opinions and what I really honestly thought of the race, I would have had a real good day, but I ended up having a pretty rough one instead. But again, Tiz the Law is a real deal. It's cool as hell to see Manny Franco get a legitimate horse. Manny's a good jock, and Barclay Tag has used Manny very almost exclusively for years. They have a really good rapport, so it's nice to see Manny being good to Barclay, Barclay being good to Manny, and the two of them both doing very well because of it. So let's hop on to today. Feature of the day today is the Aladar. towards the end of the card. But I really, my sort of best sequence of the day is in the earlier sections. I really like this. Oh, and also mandatory pick six today. So this is the one day where the jackpot wager makes sense. And I think if you are a smaller budget player, today's the kind of day you want to take a stab at this mandatory payout. I don't think this pays huge. I think it's can be very chalky, and I think you could probably on a $20 or $30 ticket potentially hit this and get a couple $100 back. And I think that's those are where these become fun. And as somebody like myself, I'm going to probably be playing some skinnier tickets. I'm going to probably leverage them up, so I'm going to try to hit for more than the base 20 cents. I really like I like the sequence. I think it's pretty slammable. It's not one where it's not the classic Saratoga where you have 10 deep fields. It's you do have big fields, but I think the major players are pretty logical. But let's talk a little bit about this race. My favorite sequence or my favorite chunk of a sequence here is this race 3-4-5 pick 3. And everybody probably notices by now. I tend to target pick 3s for these best plays of the day. The reason is a pick 3 is small enough for me that a couple things. First thing, of horizontal wagers, pick 3s are the one rolling that you have rollings across every race. So it makes for a wager that I can find races that I like and build a couple of them together into a pick 3. So that for me is very fun. The other thing I really like about a pick 3 is it's a wager that's pretty easy to leverage up. It's easy to say, hey, I have a $100 budget on the day, and I'm going to play all through one pick 3, and I'm going to play a $6 or an $8 base, and have that chance of maybe this pays $100 on the dollar, and I make an $800 back. I can get 8, 10, 12 to 1. I can get pretty good payouts by linking a couple of races I like together, and I like those sort of setups, especially at Saratoga where we have bigger fields. People are spreading, and I also think a lot of people use pick 3s defensively as a way of covering pick 4s, pick 5s, and pick 6s. Because of that fact, oftentimes that money is spread around a little bit more on wider combinations, and if you're very focused, you can get really good payouts. I've had a couple of these I've put up that have hit, and people were sort of shocked that, hey, I invested $20 here and I got back 300. Yeah, that's what you can do with a pick 3. You can use some leverage. So this third race, mile and an eighth allowance, Samoy, who's in here, was beaten by 2 3/4 lengths by Spice is Nice, who is now stakes placed. Spice is Nice is a really good horse, and had to work pretty hard to beat Samoy, and Overjoyed also came back to win. So pretty strong race that she comes out of there in Belmont. Bill Mott tends to slowly roll his horses into form. I think a mile and eighth hits her square between the eyes. Union Rags over a UNI on the bottom end. Not connections that you probably are not sort of a pedigree you see a lot, but this distance should be absolutely perfect for her. Gets Rosario. He stays here. And I think she's short price. She's 1-1 on the morning line. You probably get even money here. I would say, and she's the kind of horse that I think I can single in this leg. This is, if you look at the conditions here, a lot of these horses are one-win types. So somebody like Smooth with a Kick, who's a Chad Brown horse that I've burnt a lot of money on. These are horses that don't like to win. There's also, a couple of the Jeremiah Englehart duo on the outside does have some wins and some dropping in class, but I really like Samoy, best last out figure, and this didn't come up super tough as far as a race is concerned, so I think you can just single her here in the first leg, and then on to the fourth. So the fourth race is a pretty interesting maiden special weight. I liked 3 horses in here. I always like in these maiden special weights at Saratoga, you will see I always like to link together a horse that has form, a horse that has run, with some of the new shooters. A lot of times you get these very sexy pedigrees, these horses that are known works horses, and they get way over bet, and you've never seen them run. So I always like to pick a horse that at least has some experience. Going through the paddock, going into the gate, those things should be less of a problem or less potential for a problem to get a horse worked up. And so I want a little bit of the 2, Steal My Sunshine, who's getting a surface switch here, it's a distorted humor over Sky Mesa. They should be able to run on anything. It looks like Wes was taking a shot, and he may have been taking a shot trying to get a distance race. He might have been trying to get a little shorter distance race from this one, who seems to have a ton of speed early. And I also love this when you see a horse that has shown speed, and shown quite a bit of speed in its first start. Coming back, you're getting a little bit shorter in distance, but Horses that show speed the second time tend to be able to carry that speed a little further. With a little conditioning, they're going to be a little bit more in form. And Wes Ward is not at certain times in his history, he's been a fire or a win first out type trainer. He's not as much of one anymore. So I like him a little bit better on the second, maiden second. In Arad stays here. Him and Arad have been 31% of the Saratoga meet so far, and Wes Ward's only hitting at 23%. So that means that Arad is by far and away Wes's go-to jock when he's got a real mount. So Steal My Sunshine is definitely one I want to include, and I think could get lost a little bit on the board. And by the way, this is going to be a real simple pick three. This is going to be a 1x3x3. So I'm not doing any ABC structure. We're just going to slam this one. The other two horses I liked in here were the six Saratoga Commando. Let me move this up so people can see it, and the 7. Those are my two first-time starters that I like in here. Saratoga Commando, Chad Brown. I know the talk of Chad Brown being cold has been really overdone. Chad throws his entire barn at Saratoga, and historically, Chad has not done well the first 2 weeks of the meet. Everybody sort of forgets about Chad, stops betting Chad like he's Chad, then all of a sudden he'll win 6 races on a day, and all of a sudden the money will go back there. You want to be ahead of the trend, not chasing it. And I think Saratoga Commando looks like a real good horse in here. And it's a Chad Brown. Jose's up. I see no reason, works like, what was it? There was some stat that jumped out to me. Yeah, the barn is 12 for 60, so 20% over the past 5 years with juvenile debut runners in Saratoga maiden special weight dirt sprints. So he does actually very well with this type. And I think Credit Enforcement, who he ran with on the 8-2 work, won on debut on that would have been Friday. So the other horse that I really like in here is, I think you would say it, Fouet, who is the 7. Santana, Asmussen, they paid $400,000 for this horse, off a real good work. And second dam is Summerly, who is actually a Kentucky Oaks winner. The barn is 4 for 7 over the past 5 years with 2-year-old debut runners in Saratoga maiden special weight dirt sprints with a $2.90 ROI. So when you can find somebody like Asmussen with a positive ROI angle, that says quite a bit, to tell you the truth. I think Asmussen historically has only brought his best sort of dirt horses to Saratoga. You'll see sort of, and I would say probably these dirt sprinters, these speed types that he does tend to get. If I see him on a turf route, I'm not going to be as excited about Asmussen, and specifically Asmussen with Santana. But here, this is a horse that I think I can get pretty excited about. I think Fouet takes a ton of money in here, and it wouldn't surprise me if Fouet goes off, because Fouet was a works horse as well. If Fouet goes off at something like less than even money, 4 to 5, 3 to 5, I could see him getting really over bet, and in that case, I might throw a little win bet on Steal My Sunshine at 2, because I think this horse could potentially drift up to 6 to 1 range as people want that new face, they want to get excited about that new horse, and I'm actually really excited about Steal My Sunshine in here, a little bit more than I am the two firsters. And then into the fifth, the third leg of my pick 3. I am actually extremely interested to see Miss Bombastic in here. This is a mile. Sorry, let me make it so people can see it. This is a 1/16 dirt route, turf route, maiden special weight. So a couple things in here. At Saratoga, these turf routes are predominantly the 1 and the 2 path are where you want to be. You get, especially on the inner, you get a nice clean entry into that first corner. And this horse, we saw Bill Mott and Junior Alvarado win a maiden special weight on the turf yesterday with a first timer. So Bill Mott will win these. I tend to throw out Bill Mott's firster stats because those are over every course over the entire year. Bill Mott actually does okay at Saratoga with his firsters. He tends to bring some loaded ones here, and he likes to show them off. So Miss Bombastic at 6 to 1 may be very interesting in here, and I like the pedigree. I like the Mr. Speaker over an Arch Dam goalkeeper. And I don't have the stats right in front of me, but I think our goalkeeper was actually a fairly decent horse. So I want some Miss Bombastic, and the other two that I wanted in here were the 3 La Indiscreet, I think is how you would say it. Barclay Tag horse, who was much better second time out. And Barclay Tag, again, a trainer who does not rush his horses into form. They normally take a few starts to get good, and I would expect this one to move forward here. And I think a lot of people will look at Manny Franco and go, "Ooh, Manny, especially Manny on the turf." Manny won the last 2 races yesterday at Saratoga, and Manny for Barclay Tag is like saying Jose up for Chad Brown. Manny is his go-to jock. If you look at, we always get tied up on jocks. Well, yeah, but look at the jock trainer at Saratoga. The two of them hit 30% right now. Last year, and if you're worried about the sample size, over 2019, 2020, the jock trainer, they're 28% with 25 starts. So with a negative ROI. So, I mean, obviously, Barclay Tag, a lot of that is 'tis the law. But, Barclay Tag uses Manny. Manny's a good jock. I have no concerns here whatsoever with Manny being up on this horse. I think we get a little too caught up on the hot jock and not necessarily does that trainer use that jock and in what sort of situations. The horse in here I think a lot of people are going to get very singled to is Windfall Project, the 5. It's a horse I definitely you need to have in your ticket. If that horse runs its last race with Manny up, definitely probably either wins this or is very much in the picture to win this. But Windfall Profit, if you look at the last 2, has a bit of a case of the hangs, or I don't know, chandelier maybe you would go call her. And something that I think, again, this is sort of the game inside the game sort of a thing. If you're looking at the 5 Windfall Project, you're going to see Manny Franco getting off and Joel Rosario getting up. Now, for most people, that's going to imply that Joel Rosario is the better jock. He's the more known jock, and that means that Shug has this one right, and he's ready for a big win with Rosario up. But actually, I'm betting that Manny decided to get off this horse and went to the 3 because Manny and Barclay Tag have such a good relationship together. So I think how most people view that is not sort of how a Saratoga insider would view that sort of a move. Now, it's Rosario. It's a Shug horse. The horse makes sense. The horse is improving, and Shug's hitting at 25% this meet. It's a horse you really kind of have to have on your tickets, but if you wanted to get a little cute here, you could kind of soft fade this 5 Windfall Project, make it a B, and focus most of your money through the 2 and the 3, who I think are more interesting, and you're going to get paid for doing so. But yeah, that's my pick 3. It's a 1x3x3. Hop on Discord. I can give you the structure. I can talk you through any questions you might have about it. And yeah, good luck at the races.